Woo, we are live. All right. It's a little late. It's 10 after 8. You guys have been waiting around. Wow, good. Thankful. Thought I did a quick Google update, realized I needed to do another Google update and Chrome update. So anyways, issues with some live feed this morning, but I am excited as have a big week, have an exciting week, some really cool rank advancements that I shared this in the, I shared this in the Power Hour I did on Friday. Good morning, Cassandra. Welcome in, guys. One of the things that I shared is something that I'm starting to track. And so there is a report that I'm starting to track. And that is the number of enrollments per week and then the number of consultants per week. And so last week, as I went through those numbers, let me just find it. I had a really exciting week. We had almost 860 people join in our entire downline. Let me pull up the exact numbers. We had 832, and we had 79 new consultants. And so that's a number that I'm tracking each week. And compared to where we were a month ago, because that's where I compare it to. I compare it to that same week back in April, and we had over almost 500 more enrollments, and we had 43 more new consultants. And so those are numbers that I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see that because that means that's a lot of lives getting changed. In the last 3 weeks alone, we have had almost 3,000 people join our entire organization. And that is just spectacular numbers. That means it's a lot of people and a lot of great things. And so with that, as I am looking at those consultant numbers, just wanted to shout out a few new executives. So Josephina Deal hit executive. Andra Beck hit executive. We had rank advancement. Sarah Roberts went to 1-star Golden Circle, 1-star Crystal Executive. Mihana Kihoy went to 2-star Golden Circle Crystal Executive. She was a director. Josette LeBlanc, she moved up to 3-star Crystal Executive. And then as well, Natasha Lett, our good friends from Canada. Do you like my French? Was my French appropriate? My Canadian friends? You can critique me later. That's okay. That's all right. So everyone that hit consultant this last week, excited to share in that excitement journey with you, getting paid, changing lives, and during a time where, there's a lot of, I would say there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of, doubt. There's a lot of whatever else. To see lives changed in that way is exciting and continued growth and fun. I hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day. To all of our moms. So appreciative and thankful for you guys. And man, we wouldn't be here without you. Okay. So I don't know if I'd mentioned to you guys that I have, gone through a period of rereading a few books here this spring, the last couple of weeks. And I started off with the book Good to Great, which was phenomenal. Really makes me think of some great leadership training that we can do in Isagenix to really help people progress forward. And if you're not familiar with the book of Good to Great, it was written by Jim Collins back in the early 2000s. And it looked at businesses that had long-term sustainable growth and, publicly traded companies that more than 2 or 6 times the rest of the market. So what I'm talking about is like phenomenal results. And there are 11 companies, and they all had one attribute the same. They all had what Jim went on to describe as level 5 leadership, really unselfish leadership that was devoted towards, helping others, serving others, not looking to take credit, just saying, hey, I'm part of the team. And that is something that I am so near and endeared to because of the example that I've been given from John Maxwell. John Maxwell then took that information and really kind of, applied it into a teaching level in his book, 5 Levels of Leadership. So if you haven't read that, that's a great book. And I might even go through and do a book study of that because I think it's so imperative that, in this time when we have so many new people joining our organization, when we have so much kind of going on, there's a couple factors that really Kelly and I talk a lot about, and that is finances and managing it and understanding, how important that is to get a grasp on it. She talked about that in her power hour a couple weeks ago. She's going to have a power hour today at 11 o'clock Pacific. And I wouldn't be surprised if she talks about it again, because it's something that is so important to, kind of keep focus on financial stuff. Number two is, what does real leadership look like? Well, how is leadership, really kind of displayed as you're helping people and, being a part of a business that maybe you've never been in a leadership position before. So anyways, those two great books, great attributes. The other book that I'm reading, and I'm reading this with my men's group, is the book Start With Why. And I don't have it right here. I do have a copy. Anyways, Simon Sinek's Start With Why. And the second chapter, oh my goodness. I think everyone that's ever read the book that has been involved in Isagenix for the last 5+ years should go read this chapter. Again, it is called Carrots or Sticks. And last week I wore a shirt during Family Friday that was called Purpose Over Passion. And I was doing the laundry this week and realized I had got some bleach on it. And so that shirt's toast. It's a workout shirt now. But anyways, one of the things that the guy who developed that shirt, Todd Gongwer, wrote in his book, Lead for God's Sake, was, you can lead with a carrot and you just give people incentive, and they essentially get burnt out by it. That's what Simon Sinek talks a little bit about in his book, is that, you can be all about incentives. You can sell your business all about incentives. And the thing is that people continue to look for incentives, and whatever incentives you have aren't enough. They're looking for more. It's kind of like a drug addict. And he goes, it's really, you're creating product junkies. You're creating product junkies where they're looking for the next best offer. They're just, the offer they got last week isn't good enough. They need more and more and more. And then, he talks about where you can, it's really a matter of the stick, which you can just beat people into submission. You can just grind people into fear, where if they don't buy your product, if they don't, kind of become a part of your community, there's so much fear that they join out of fear. And he talked about a company where, and maybe you guys have seen this situation, someone's in purchasing for a corporation and they have a new company and they really like the people and they got a great product and they think the product would be great for them, but it's a little risky because it's a new company. And it's a better deal. It looks like it has better value, everything. But the person is scared because if it goes wrong, they're going to get their head chopped off. So instead, they buy a lower quality product with a little higher price from a long-term established company, because they know if it goes wrong, well, they're like, well, it was just this or that because the company has been there forever. It must have been just us, not the company. And so that's a fear situation with a stick. And what's interesting is I look back, how does that apply to our business? And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about, I've heard people join network marketing really two places. And I'm going to reply here to Cassandra's comment, the author's name. Oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that. Todd Gongwer. Okay. Enter. There you go. Going to go back. Okay. So, back on track. People join network marketing for two reasons, either inspiration or desperation. And, as I talk about, that's either carrots or sticks. And sometimes that isn't bad. Sometimes being feared into discipline, feared into a change that you want to make isn't inherently bad. But when you take advantage of people, that's when it's bad. And I thought about that in our history. I don't know if you guys knew this. And if you guys just joined our company, I'm so thankful and glad we're not in this place anymore. But last spring, 2019, we had 9 weeks in a row of promotions or, new products or whatever. It was just Carrot City. And we created a culture for a couple of years in a row where people only shared the value in it if there was a carrot. Now, it came to a point of there wasn't a whole lot of fear or whatever, but it created a culture issue. And now I'm excited the fact we're seeing all this growth, we're seeing all this fun, and without a lot of promotions. Yeah, we got some new products, tweaks, innovations, but that's just little minor things. Nothing major. Those are just novelty stuff that came out. We have the major innovations coming later this summer that you guys, it's just gonna, okay. And, so why am I talking about carrots or sticks? One of the things that I realized, and let me give you some context here. In every mature business, every business, Isagenix will, kind of establish through their numbers that 15% of people in the entire customer base actually share the products in some way, shape, or form. 85% just use the products. And when I was thinking about that, and it's not absolute, but I would go out on a limb and really venture to guess that of the 15% of people that, share, they don't do it from a fear point of view. So, my opinion is they're doing that because they're either desperate for money, but they weren't feared into the products. It was desperate for money, or they're inspired because the example they see from someone else and they're like, hey, if they can do that, I can do that. And I really thought about that and tried to think, and like, man, is anyone doing it out of fear? In other words, it would be like if I went to my little brother and said, dude, you're going to do this or I'm going to beat you up. That's an example of fear. Or you're going to do this or you're going to be so envious and so upset in 5 years that you weren't where I am. What are you waiting on? And I think that's motivating by fear. The inspiration is, speaking belief into people. It's like, I know the ability that you have, and maybe you can't see it in yourself. And I know out of time, by the experiences, the opportunities to grow, the community, you're going to unlock something in yourself that you never knew was there. And I know network marketing can be an opportunity maybe for you to develop those skills, develop that income stream that's going to launch you into even bigger things. But I know the community and I know the opportunity that you're going to invite people into this industry, into this opportunity that is going to change your life, change their life. Let's go. To me, that's an inspiration, right? And so I think about that as if you're looking at it, it's like, man, I'm getting a lot of people enrolled. They're buying the products, and maybe even they're getting a consultant, but yet they don't do anything beyond that. And my thought is, and again, this is just a working thought. This isn't, I don't have, real answers to this. It's just a thought is, are you using inspiration or are you using fear? Are you using carrots or using sticks? Because here's the thing that I didn't necessarily bring together. I didn't bring together the fact that in his book, Lead for God's Sake, Todd goes, it's with heart that you maximize carrots and sticks, because sometimes using both of them for the right person is the right place, but you got to have a lot of heart. And so you can inspire somebody with carrots, but if you have a lot of heart, it's worth more than just, carrots. You can inspire somebody with a stick, a little bit of like, yeah, but if you don't change, is it going to be any different? That's a fear, but that's with heart because you're putting it back on them and their goals. And so as I was listening to that this morning, getting ready for my study tomorrow morning with a group of guys, as we go over it, it's like, oh, wow, this is good stuff. I want everyone to read it. And I think it's great rereading, and it's a great perspective to understand where we've gone, what's worked, what's not worked. But then I think about it, all the people that I know that have had success in network marketing have done so out of excitement of what possibility and not fear of letting someone else down. Because I have seen this. I have seen people join network marketing out of fear of letting someone else down. And then all of a sudden, when poop hits the fan, they're gone. They're like, I knew it. This was, too good to be true. Or you just ride this for the peak and then you get off because that's just what happens. No, to me, that is looking at it to say, hey, I'm discounting this whole thing along. I'm not doing it for me and or what better I could be in life, how I could grow in life, how I could show up. And that's where it comes into the last point. You become a jewel of the pressure applied. I took this quote from, John Maxwell this morning and his Minute with Maxwell. And it's a quote that, kind of really, comes together and says it's all about pressure. And as I'm waiting for this quote to load, I'm sorry, I thought my phone had it here. We'll try it again. And bear with me, it'll come up. It boils down to, only with tons and tons and tons and tons of pressure over a long time and heat do diamonds develop. Other than that, they're just a piece of carbon. When you think of some of the greatest jewels and treasures of our world, they're developed under tremendous amounts of pressure and heat over time. And if you aren't putting yourself into where pressure is, if you aren't putting yourself into a place that could, hurt, be a little difficult, challenge you, if you're not willing to put yourself there, my question is, are you willing to actually, and trust me, guys, I'm paying attention here. I'm trying to look for this quote. Are you making the most of your life? And it can be as simple as saying, you know what? Ooh, every time there's a little pressure, you know what I do? Ooh, I skirt from it. Every time I get a little scared, you know what I do? I turn and run. Whenever there's just a little something that I'm a little scared, I back away from. I'm not willing to go in and get dirty, ugly, a bloody nose. But I tell you this, is the quote from Mike Tyson goes, and it's very, very often is it quoted. It goes, it's all good until you get punched in the nose. And that's when it really comes together. And you can have a strategy, you can have a game plan, you can have whatever you want to be. And all of a sudden you get punched in the nose, and that's who you find out who you really are, what kind of fight you have inside, what kind of heart you have inside. And if you find yourself crumbling, then you haven't put yourself to enough pressure to say, you know what? I need to endure this. Does it mean that needs to be miserable? No, don't take that wrong. That's good pressure. That's pressure coming in that is making you better. It's not the pressure that is, allowing someone else to just tear you down. It's pressure to say, ooh, I don't want to run this extra half a mile, but you know what? I'm going to run that extra half a mile because I know it's better for me. I'm not going to do that extra push-up because I just don't feel like doing it. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to reach out to that extra person because I don't want, I'm just, what might they say? I mean, I won't let you guys, I reached out to people last week and, it wasn't necessarily great. I've been reaching out to a lot of people, having a lot of conversations. And, I could say that there hasn't been any enrollments of it, but I also know I'm one step farther, one step closer, and crafting the vision, crafting the situation to say, hey, what are you in for? And so those are the things I wanted to share this morning. Excited for all of you guys that rank advanced last week. Excited for everyone. If you enrolled one person last week, I am so excited for you to share this opportunity, this journey, everything that Isagenix has for it, because it's not just about the products. It's about the transformation that comes through all the rest of it. That is most exciting. So thank you guys for joining in. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys always show up, commenting. And I will see you again, hopefully with some exciting news, because you never know what exciting news may come up with. All right, guys, have a good day.